Hi, my name is Vicky Pearson and I'm running for district election on May 4th for the role of the district councillor for the Bardney ward area. I am standing because I love this community. I love this village. I've lived here for over a decade. I've been involved in various community groups. I was vice chair of the parish council for a number of years, and I just have the time and the ability right now to kind of give my time back within a role like this, and it's something that really excites me. And I think if we had somebody in with a few ideas like I've got, we could really maybe try and build and solve some of the frustrations we have as a community. So the role of district councillor is basically the one that represents the local interests and local areas, local groups, communities, when it comes to any council meetings, decisions, planning, and also is responsible for communicating back from the council to the local community what's going on and what's going to be affecting them. So there's less surprises and things with like big developments or things like that. So a local councillor should know their community, should be involved in their community, be involved in the groups or some of the groups, or and as their elected councillor they should really get to know all the people within the community and how best they can support that community. Represent public views. So again, one thing I'm quite interested in starting is a forum in Bardney, political forum, which is open to the public, where we can invite the parish council, the district councillor and the county councillor all in one place. And when things like these big, the Kia Homes development, things like that are going ahead, we have somewhere where people can come and ask the questions and get the answers, and there won't be anybody missing from the room. There'll be no more he said, she's responsible, they're responsible. It would be everybody hopefully in a room, and between us we can work together, which I think is key, is that we all start working together as a community for the good of the community. And I want to help facilitate that by bringing people together. And that's something I kind of started with Bardney One Welcome. I really wanted to bring groups together to start a project and start building that community cohesion with what we're doing, because there's so many amazing people in Bardney, and there's so many amazing people doing amazing things, running youth clubs, running community groups, running all sorts of things. And I really think that it's a special place, Bardney. I do. And I think if we work together, we can solve those niggles that everyone's just getting a bit frustrated with. And lastly, lead local campaigns. So one thing for me that was probably the big reason why I decided to stand was sitting in our village play park with my 4-year-old son who has ADHD and is a runner, and I myself with a disability which restricts me from running, and having no gates and having things where they're tripping up and various things, and it's amazing what the play park has done. They've tried their best and they've been repainting it, various things, but they really need is a lot of funding, and it's something that I think as a role of a district councillor it needs to be supported in that way, so that we can have access to various grants, not just council grants, private grants. I think a councillor shouldn't just be about council grants. We need to be like, well, if the council can't help you here, what can I do? What can I find that can help and fit the situation? So that's what I want to do with the Village Play Park, is let's get some grants, let's get some funding, business match funding, let's get this park restored, and I'm going to be doing it anyway, because to me the park's really important for this community. But if I was elected a district councillor, it would just give me that official representation to say, I'm the district councillor of this community, leading this, this campaign on the official, as an official role and capacity, and we need this park in this community, because bringing something into the village like Washingborough would bring people into the village using the post office, using the coffee shop, using the heritage centre, and the Panthers, you see all the kids coming at the matches and they're all playing together, been on the park when they're there, and it's amazing. There's people from different communities, children playing together, and wouldn't that be amazing if it was on a really amazing park that they then come back to maybe when they're not out of football, and maybe having some outdoor gym equipment included in that, so it's a more overall community use. So things like that, local campaigns. So I've been basically, when I decided I wanted to run for council last year, the big thing that I find frustrating with politicians is there's lots of empty pledges or things you don't necessarily understand, and you don't really know necessarily if they're going to do a good job, you don't know if they're telling the truth, you just kind of have to vote with who you at that moment think is the best person, or maybe your political allegiances come in quite strongly on that, and that's fine too. So I'm standing on behalf of the Green Party. I've been a member of the Green Party for quite a number of years now. I've held a lot of national roles within the Green Party, and and I've done a bit locally, politically with them as well. But I'm standing for the community, and the Green Party is there for my legal support, legal advice, councillor advice. If I got elected, I'd have a wealth of knowledge behind me that would be able to help me in anything that maybe is newer to me or I haven't dealt with before. And that's just something that's really good for the community, having a councillor that's got that backup of national councillors in London, all across the country that have got that real years-long experience. But I'm standing on behalf of the community because there's a few things that I think people are frustrated with, and I just want to see if I can help ease some of those. I've got some ideas. I've been talking with different community groups. I've had meetings with different community groups. I've been going out there and meeting people and trying to see, what we can do, what is possible, what's feasible, what are people already doing, and the stuff that everyone's doing is amazing, and I want to continue to support that. And I also want to support it not just in a way that's financial or things like that, but I want to be somebody that groups can turn to and say, we're doing this food project and or growing project, and we're not, we need to we're after someone who's got some experience or something like that, and I've got friends in the Lincolnshire Food Partnership that I can kind of bring in, or I can go out and find people to help and support that group, as just somebody in the community that is there that may be able to provide some of that extra support, let them know what various grants are going on, not just council grants but overall national grants, point them in the right direction of things, or even help find volunteers and people in the community maybe that have a similar idea, maybe team them up, so people can work together and we can work together better as a community. Some of my ideas, other than the village play park, I'd like to create some and support village teen and young adult programmes. So there are already a few things going on and they're brilliant, and I want to continue trying to support those in any way I can, maybe build on them. A couple of other ideas I've had that I'd like to introduce and look to work on would be creating possibly a summer programme for 14 to 18-year-olds, something that's a fun but a skill that they can get involved in, something like a music school where they provide at the end of the season, they provide a concert for the community, or various things like that, where it's something that engages them, keeps them busy, keeps them out of any trouble that may be around, but also is something that's nice for the community to see and is a skill they could take away. A couple of other ideas we've had, I'd like to look at starting a Bardney Youth Council, maybe working between the Parish Council and the Bardney Gateway Centre. I haven't really spoken to those groups about it. This is a very initial idea, so don't in any way, I've had a few comments before that I'm affiliating with anybody. I'm not affiliated with any particular organisation. I'm just speaking with organisations and trying to see how can I help, and what's going on and what would maybe help, and overall basically to get an idea of how can we ease some of the problems we have as a community and support what we've already got going on, but build on it to try and find those answers. So something like a youth council would be amazing in Bardney, because we could look at what can we do, what are your ideas, what do you want to see as a summer programme, what do you need, rather than older people kind of thinking, well, we've already done this and this, and it would also get them involved in the community, and get them involved in understanding how local politics works and things like that. And another thing, within the kind of same area, isn't really creating programmes, is we have a real problem in this area at the moment, and other rural areas like this, to do with secondary school placements. We're currently in there's a load of catchment areas in for various schools near us, and we're kind of in the middle of them. So as the population increases, density increases in these villages, these big developments come up, those catchment areas shrink and Bardney ends up in a little black hole. So we need a councillor who's aware of this problem and can team up with other councillors in other rural areas in Lincolnshire, and I know there are some where we can work together and we can come up with a long-term rural educational plan for secondary school children. And I think that we need a councillor that's aware of this problem and has maybe ideas of how we can deal with this, because 8 children this year couldn't get into a local secondary school, so they're being bussed out of area, which obviously adds on extra long travelling hours. They're moving away from their friends, they're going to be living away from their school friends, you know. So I mean, ideally we need to find a solution for that. The next area I'd like to look at as a councillor would be community investment. As a district councillor, I have remit and responsibility for Section S106 funding, which is basically any huge development that goes on. The Care Homes one that's going on, it's already gone ahead, it's too late, but anything kind of that size, it would be a district councillor's role to ensure that S106 money, which is public investment money in the social support services, so like GPs, school placements, various things like that, make sure that it's accessible and that we can get it, and that the support is given to the organisations in the community that need that funding, and that then they can access it. And we can look at things then like, how can we lower GP waiting times, how can we get the GP open longer, you know, so the hours match something like rugby. Can we look at funding so we can help get another GP that's a Bardney based one, or in another area I'd like to set up a social support system in Bardney, building on from what we did with the Bardney Warm Welcome. I'd like to look at the Bardney Warm Welcome, which highlighted more of an issue in this community for isolation, loneliness, mental health than it did for fuel poverty. So building on something like that, something that is free, accessible for the community. It's not aimed at a certain type of person, it's open to all families. We can have people coming in doing activities, skill sessions, possibly look if eventually we can get like a community nurse that can go for just an hour or two, and then it'll just ease those waiting times in the GP practice. And then we can look as a community, how can we help ourselves until the government can get their act together and they can sort out the funding and the gaps in that system. But I think as Bardney, it's a really good idea if we can work together to fix the problems locally that we have, that we're just not getting that national support from, and that support from higher up. And I want to see if I can be the person that facilitates that. I have a website. My website is Vicky Pearson greenparty.co.uk. I'll put a link below the video to that. There's more information on me, my career history, just to verify, you know, that I've got the experience and the knowledge. I've ran businesses, I've ran a lot of things, youth programs, various stuff like that before. And any questions you've got, please, you know, I'll try my best. I'm doing this because I just think there's some real niggles in this village, and I'm going to try and help. I want to just see if I can try and ease some of them, and if we can help it and work together with the people already doing amazing things in this community to build that together, so that we can really work together. And you know, and any future planning developments, I mean, every village in Lincolnshire, they're saying, is going to double in size over the next 20 years, and I really want to make sure there's another voice at the table. Ian Fleetwood is our county councillor, and he'll be continuing his work as county councillor, but I just want to make sure there's another voice at the table that's concerned about our beautiful countryside, keeping it as intact as we can, and that it's considered to our community as we can, and that local community investment from any development, that we're not losing, you know, out when it comes to primary school places, doctors waiting lists, the things that are really getting to us, that those need to be a priority in this community before we start adding any more huge developments. So hopefully I've done my best to explain some of what I'm doing and what the role is, and why I'd like, you know, you to consider me, and just consider, you know, that I'm a viable option. I live in the village, in Bardney village. You know, if I got this role, I want this role, and I have ideas for this role. It isn't a wasted vote. It is another option. If you feel this election, I've got a puppy upstairs, that, you know, that you'd like to place your vote, anywhere else, I'd like you, if you could consider me and the Green Party, that would be amazing. I'm going to be going out and meeting people. I was out in Stainfield the other day, meeting people, going out to Appley today, and then I would be working around the village slightly. I'm a disabled lady, so I struggle with walking, so please excuse me a little bit for not going door to door for every single house in the village, but I am available to come talk to you. If you would like me to come and meet you, I will happily do that, and I'm around and happy to talk to anybody, and I will be coming to some doors, and I'm going to try my best, but I'm going to be having some friends and people in the community who have worked with me and who like some of the things I'm saying, have offered to help with some of the flyering going out. And I would like to offer an apology for the confusion over the Bardney Scouts. It was not in any way my intention to cause any problems or friction within the village. It was some miscommunication, and I'd been pointed to the wrong person. So please accept my deepest apologies for anything like that. It was never my intention to do that. I want to try and work together and bring people together and try and see if we can resolve that. So I'm going to still look at creating a village fire pit. I'm going to still look at creating that and getting the council on board, and it'll be a community facility that any group can use and will have access to, and that's something I'm going to develop as a proposal to the parish council, as something for various groups to use, youth clubs and children's youth programmes. So yes, if you've got this far, thank you very much. If you could view my website, have a look through it. My social media link I'll pop on the bottom as well, and I'll be updating the things I've done, and if you've got any ideas, if you've got something that you think, do you know what, I think this would be amazing for Bardney, then please, I'm happy to help support you do it, help, if it's something I could take on, then we'll look at it, but I just want to be another voice in the room that's considerate of our village, that loves our countryside, and that is making sure that our community is supported as best as we can manage it with the current government funding issues with local councils. So thank you very much for the time today, and I hope you all have a great weekend.